My name is Mira Mercer, and until last year, I honestly believed hard work was enough. I thought if I stayed late, hit my targets, smiled through the nonsense, and kept my temper in check, the universe would eventually meet me halfway. I was wrong. The first crack in that belief started on a Tuesday morning, during the kind of meeting that smells like burnt coffee and fake enthusiasm. "Let's give a warm round of applause to our new Senior Director of Strategy," said Daniel Cole, our VP. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Welcome aboard, Eric Lawson." Polite claps echoed around the conference room. I kept my hands folded in my lap. Because the role Eric just got, that was the promotion I'd been promised. Daniel looked right past me as if I was part of the furniture. I watched Eric stand, tall and confident in his tailored navy suit, jaw sharp, hair perfect. He looked like he'd been cut out of a tech company brochure. "I'm excited to work with all of you," Eric said, "especially on the Mercer account. I've heard Mira's doing great work there." The Mercer account. My last name, my project, my numbers. Daniel chuckled. "Yeah, Mira's a machine. She makes the rest of us look lazy." Everyone laughed. I didn't. Because just 3 weeks earlier, I'd sat in Daniel's glass office while he told me, "It's basically yours, Mira. We just have to finalize the upper approvals. But start thinking long term. This promotion is your path." That lie still echoed in my chest like a hollow drum. After the meeting, people circled around Eric. Handshakes, jokes, safe little office compliments. I closed my notebook, slid my pen into the spiral, and started to stand. "Mira!" Daniel's voice stopped me. "Got a second?" Of course I did. I always did. I followed him into his office. Frosted glass, minimal decor. A fake plant that was somehow dying anyway. He shut the door but didn't sit. "Look," he said, hands on his hips. "I know you probably feel blindsided." "Blindsided is one word," I said. My voice sounded calmer than I felt. "You told me the role would be mine." He nodded, not even pretending to be ashamed. I did, and at the time, that was the plan. But upper management wanted someone with... I finished for him. "A penis?" His jaw flexed, with more big picture experience. I laughed once. It didn't sound nice. My strategy turned a dying client into our biggest account last quarter. That wasn't big picture enough? "It's not personal, Mira," he said. "You're valuable. You're just not there yet." "Not there," I repeated. He stepped behind his desk, creating distance. "Plus, Eric has an MBA from Harvard." There it was, the golden ticket. "I have a master's degree," I said. "I've led more successful campaigns than Eric has probably even read about. And I've been here 7 years. How exactly am I not there yet?" "Calm down," he said quietly, glancing at the glass walls like he was afraid someone might hear. "I'm trying to help you. If you play this smart, Eric could be a great mentor. He's got connections. You could learn a lot." Mentor. Like I was some intern. Something inside me went cold. "I understand," I said. He visibly relaxed, mistaking my silence for obedience. He always did. "Good," he said. "Be a team player on this. It'll pay off in the long run." When I left his office, my hands were shaking. Not from sadness, from rage. I headed straight to the women's restroom, locked myself in a stall, and stared at the bland white door. I'd missed birthdays, dates, family dinners. I'd eaten cheap takeout at my desk while building decks that made Daniel look like a genius. I'd coached new hires, fixed other people's messes, and pulled numbers out of thin air to save accounts Daniel had nearly lost. And when the time came to reward loyalty and results, they gave my job to a man who'd never set foot in the building until that morning. Harvard or not, he was standing on my work, my life, my back. I didn't cry. I thought about it. But the tears never came. Instead, an idea did. Not fully formed, not clean or polite, more like a shadow, a whisper. You're not powerless. That voice scared me and thrilled me at the same time. Over the next few days, I watched. I listened. Eric was charming. I'll give him that. He made people feel seen, especially the people above him on the org chart. He liked to repeat phrases like strategic alignment and synergy and top of funnel, like they were fresh ideas, not things we'd been doing for years. Half the time, he was describing strategies I'd already implemented, and Daniel nodded like it was revolutionary. But there was something else. Eric was careless, with details, with credit, with people he thought didn't matter. On a Thursday afternoon, I was working late, again, when I overheard him on a call in the conference room. The door was slightly open, his voice low but clear. "Yeah, I know I signed the non-compete," he said, laughing. "Relax, I'm not stealing any clients yet. I'm just warming them up. When I jump, they'll follow. It's called leverage." I froze. Slowly, I stood and moved closer, staying out of sight. "I'm telling you," he continued. "These people are clueless. They hand me a 7-figure account for doing nothing. The girl running it before me? Brilliant, but way too loyal. No degree from the right places. They'll never promote her past mid-level." The girl, he meant me. My fingers curled into fists. "When the timing's right," he said, "I'm out, and I'm taking their biggest accounts with me. I already have one of their key clients texting me directly." He was talking about the Mercer account. My account. My family's company. My father had started Mercer & Co. decades ago, and though he sold majority ownership years back, he trusted me to handle the marketing strategy for the brand he'd built from nothing. If Eric thought that was just some random corporate logo to exploit, he had no idea what he'd walked into. I backed away from the door, heart pounding. He was planning to gut the company from the inside, using my work as bait. He thought no one knew. He thought I was weak. That night, I didn't go straight home. I drove to my parents' old neighborhood, parked outside the diner my dad used to take me to, and sat there under the flickering neon sign. My dad always said, "Revenge is a poor investment, Mira. But justice pays long term." Back then, I'd nodded like I understood. Now I did. Revenge is impulsive. Justice is patient. Cold November air seeped through the cracked window. I pulled my coat tighter and opened my laptop. If Eric wanted to play games with clients and contracts, he'd chose the wrong battlefield. Because my dad might not own Mercer & Co. anymore. But I still knew every clause in their agreements, every renewal date, every leverage point. I'd built those campaigns from scratch. I knew exactly how much money they brought in. And I knew something else too. Daniel and Eric thought I was helpless, stuck under them. They forgot something important. They weren't the only ones who could make a move. The next day, I scheduled a lunch with the current CEO of Mercer & Co., Olivia Harper. She replied within minutes. "Of course, Mira. It's been too long. Friday?" I stared at the screen, heartbeat steady. Friday would be the first step. Not toward begging for respect, not toward waiting for permission, but toward something much colder, smarter, permanent. Karma doesn't always work on its own. Sometimes it needs a project manager. And my name is Mira Mercer. I've managed enough projects to know. You don't destroy people like Daniel and Eric by shouting. You do it with a smile, a contract, and a deadline they never see coming. By Friday afternoon, the air in the city felt sharp enough to cut glass. I walked into the restaurant early, letting the warm hum of conversation steady my pulse. When Olivia Harper arrived, sleek black coat, silver hair pinned back, eyes that missed nothing, I stood to greet her. "Mira," she said, pulling me into a quick hug. "You look like you're carrying a storm. I didn't deny it. I need to talk to you about something important, confidential. Her brow lifted, intrigued. Then let's order first. I think we'll need food. Once drinks arrived, I told her everything. Not the anger, not the humiliation, just the facts. Daniel's lie, Eric's promotion, his call about warming up clients, the mention of the Mercer account. Olivia listened without interrupting, hands folded, expression tightening with every detail. When I finished, she leaned back. Let me guess. They assume you're too loyal to fight back. I exhaled. Exactly. She tapped her nails on the table, slow and deliberate. You know, your father used to say you were the most dangerous person in a room because people mistake your kindness for weakness. A small, bitter smile tugged at my lip. They still do. She nodded once, decisively. Then let's use that. For a moment, I didn't breathe. Use it how? I asked. But she didn't answer right away. She scanned the menu as if choosing pasta was the hardest part of our meeting. When the server brought our plates and walked away, Olivia finally looked at me. I want to make you an offer, she said. But first, you need to understand something. She lowered her voice. Corporate loyalty is a myth. But justice? Justice is strategy. And I value strategy. A chill ran up my spine. What are you saying? I'm saying Mercer & Co. is planning a separation from its parent conglomerate next year. We'll need a new marketing director, someone who understands the brand, the clients, the legacy, someone who isn't afraid to clean house. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. She continued, I can't officially offer you the role yet, but I can position you for it, and I can ensure Daniel and Eric never touch your account again. I swallowed, heat rising under my skin. Why help me? Her eyes sharpened. Because your father trusted me, and because I can't stand incompetence disguised as leadership. I felt the words settle into place like puzzle pieces. But, she added, I need something from you in return. Of course she did. What is it? I need proof. Solid, irrefutable proof that Eric is breaching his non-compete and that Daniel is either enabling him or ignoring it. If they're dirty, I need dirt. My heartbeat steadied. I already had one recording, Eric bragging on the phone, but I didn't tell her that yet. I can get it, I said. I know you can, she replied, smiling. And when you do, I'll handle the rest. When we parted ways outside, snowflakes drifted down like ash. The city glowed under the icy haze, and for once I felt calm, like everything was aligning. When I got home, I opened my laptop and started building a folder. Project Cleanse, I titled it. Every email, every message, every discrepancy in Eric's reports. I mapped it all. Monday morning, I came early. The office was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels held together by tension. As I passed Daniel's office, I heard laughter, Eric's and Daniel's. Dude, you're going to be running this place in 6 months, Daniel said. Eric chuckled. Yeah, once I've got all the data I need. After that, game over. My stomach tightened. My account, our clients, their trust. It wasn't just unethical, it was theft. I waited until they left for a meeting. Then I slipped into Daniel's office with gloves on. Yes, gloves. And connected a backup drive to his computer. Not to steal anything. Just to mirror emails related to my accounts and decisions impacting them. Every file I copied was something I had the legal right to access. When Daniel returned, he didn't notice a thing. By Thursday, the folder labeled Project Cleanse had become a carefully ordered arsenal. I had emails where Eric forwarded client contacts to his personal phone. Screenshots of him taking credit for decks I built. A full log of times he left the office to meet prospects. He had no business meeting. And the recording. That lovely, incriminating recording where he bragged about violating his contract, all neatly timestamped, all backed up in 3 locations. The next step was simple, dangerous, but simple. I scheduled a meeting with HR, specifically with Ruth, the one person in the department who still believed in ethics. When I walked into her office, she smiled warmly. "Mira, what can I do for you?" I closed the door slowly. "I need to report misconduct," I said. "On the record." Her face shifted instantly into seriousness. "Whose?" I placed a USB drive on her desk. "Daniel Cole and Eric Lawson, and I have evidence." She didn't touch it at first. This could blow up the entire leadership chain. "Yes," I said, meeting her eyes. "That's the point." She leaned forward, lowering her voice. "Are you prepared for the fallout?" I thought of Daniel's smirk, Eric's arrogance. 7 years of being told to wait, be patient, be grateful. "I'm prepared," I said. "More than they think." Ruth nodded. "Let me review this. If what you're saying is true, procedures will start immediately." As I left HR, a strange warmth settled under my ribs. Not satisfaction, not revenge, just clarity. A week ago, they'd handed my future to a stranger in a Navy suit. Now, I was holding theirs, and they had no idea the clock was already ticking. The following Monday began like any other, but the building felt different. Charged, brittle, ready to snap. I walked through the lobby with my coffee, head high, heart steady. I'd spent the weekend waiting for the first crack to show. It came sooner than I expected. By 9:15 a.m., HR sent out a mass email. Mandatory leadership compliance audit. All department heads must report for interviews today. Whispers shot through the floor like electricity. People leaned over cubicles. Doors opened. Eyes darted. Daniel stepped out of his office, face flushed. "Everyone, relax. Routine audit. Nothing to worry about." He said it too loudly, too fast. Eric followed a few steps behind, pretending to scroll his phone. But his jaw was tight. His eyes kept flicking toward HR's wing. I took my seat, opened my laptop, and pretended to work while watching panic bloom behind their polished veneers. At 10:03 a.m., Ruth from HR appeared. "Daniel," she said evenly, "we're ready for you." She didn't ask, she summoned. Daniel straightened his tie and gave me a look on his way. Out, tight-lipped, suspicious, cold. I smiled politely. Minutes later, Eric was called in, and that's when the real unraveling began. 2 hours passed, 3. People whispered things like, "I heard raised voices," and "he looked pissed," and "this isn't routine." By lunchtime, I stepped outside for air. Snow drifted softly over the sidewalk. My phone buzzed. A text from Olivia Harper. "Phase 2 starts today. Be ready." My pulse kicked up, but not from fear, from justice. By late afternoon, Eric stormed out of HR, red-faced and sweating. He slammed a folder against the wall and muttered, "This is bullshit," before disappearing down the hall. Daniel came out next, subdued, pale, the swagger completely gone. He shut his office door so hard the glass rattled. And then, finally, at 4:12 p.m., the announcement came over internal messaging. Effective immediately, Senior Director of Strategy Eric Lawson is under investigation and placed on unpaid suspension pending further review. The floor exploded in murmurs. I didn't celebrate. Not yet. Predictably, 10 minutes later, Daniel summoned me. "Mira, now!" His voice scraped with fury. I stepped into his office and closed the door behind me. He'd been crying. His eyes were wet, red-rimmed. His desk was scattered with papers. "What did you do?" he snapped. I lifted my chin. "I reported misconduct." "You went to HR? About Eric? About me?" "Yes." "You stabbed us in the back," I laughed softly. "You lied to me. You handed my work to someone breaking federal contract laws, and you told him I'd never go anywhere. So no, I didn't stab you in the back. I confronted reality. He slammed his hands on his desk. Do you understand what you've done? This could cost me my job. It should, I said calmly. You let someone jeopardize your entire division, and you tried to bury me so you could keep coasting. His face twisted. You ungrateful... It's over, Daniel, I said. HR has everything. He opened his mouth, but a knock interrupted us. Ruth, with a folder in her hand. Daniel, she said gently, we need to continue our conversation downstairs. The look he gave me on the way out was pure hatred, but under it, fear. Real fear. When the door shut behind them, I breathed deeply, letting the moment settle over me like warm sunlight. Hours later, just as I was packing up, Olivia called. Come to my office tomorrow morning, she said. 8 sharp. Her tone held something new. Finality. The next morning, I walked into her corner office, the skyline blazing behind her like a crown. Mira, she said, smiling. Sit. I did. She folded her hands. Eric's contract violations were undeniable. The board suspended him indefinitely. He won't be returning. I nodded. And Daniel? A slow, satisfied breath left her. He resigned this morning, effective immediately. A quiet hum moved through my chest. Olivia leaned forward. That leaves a gap in leadership, and the board has reviewed your record, your client history, and the evidence you brought forward. Her eyes softened. They're offering you the director of strategy role, effective today. My breath caught, not shock, not disbelief, just the realization that justice, slow, cold, steady justice, had landed exactly where it needed to. I accept, I said. She smiled. I thought you would. When I left her office, the entire world felt different. Lighter, sharper, balanced. People glanced up as I walked past, not with pity, not with condescension, but with something new. Respect. Later that evening, as I rode the elevator down to the lobby, I caught my reflection in the mirrored doors. Stronger, calmer, unbroken. My father's voice echoed in my memory. Justice pays long term. He was right. I stepped into the cold evening air, tucked my hands into my coat pockets, and let the city swallow me up. Eric had lost everything. Daniel had fallen harder than he ever imagined. The company, stronger than before. And me? My name is Mira Mercer. I don't chase revenge. I build justice, piece by calculated piece. And I never lose.